What up, peeps? What up? The D Philly Show, episode 2. Let's go. Listen, I didn't want to have to do this because I'm a fan of fashion and that industry. Yes, I know the bad parts about that industry. There's some good parts too. So I've waited till I gathered, the information before I could really speak on this, because I feel like a lot of times whenever there's a issue publicly, we jump on them, boom, we pounce, while our emotion is still really rah-rah, and that causes us to have a skewed view of things. That causes us to not be able to objectively look at things. So, when we're still hyped, we could be fed other people's agendas and we gobble them up and eat them up instead of taking a breath. Let me do some research, come back, figure it out. But what I want to talk about today is Balenciaga, the brand, and what happened with the children and the bears and the whole ad campaign. Was just totally, completely out of pocket. Companies used to be able to get away with doing things like this, and a lot of times kingdom people didn't feel like, they had a voice. But with social media, with the different things that we can do on our platform, when we speak out against a demonic culture or a culture that doesn't necessarily have to care about morals and things like that, because for them it's a bottom line, the dollar. But now as kingdom people, we can speak out, we can tell our side of it as well. Now, when we do that, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to stay poised, and I have children. I have a child the age of some of these kids in the ad. So as a man and as a dad, of course, I'm hot. I'm livid. I'm fired up. I don't have a daughter. If I did have a daughter, I would be more fired up. But we live in a day and age where the enemy does not have to hide anymore. See, one of the greatest things in history that Satan did was make the masses think that he didn't exist. Make the masses think that he didn't exist. We're not there anymore. I mean, some people still think he doesn't exist, but it's blatantly obvious the way that he just spells it out for people. Because he's so prideful, he gets to sit back and laugh and say, look at them. They didn't even notice what I did. We don't even notice what he did. But we do here. So in the ad campaign, there is little girls holding BDSM bears, bears with leather restraints on them. These are sexualized teddy bears being held by 3 and 4-year-olds. If you haven't seen the ad for Balenciaga's new campaign. And in one particular part of the ad, you can see paperwork on the table. And the paperwork on the table is actually cases, pieces of case file. And they have actual child porn numbers on the paperwork. This is public. It's not hidden. Balenciaga said it was a photo shoot for their new product, which included a very purposely poorly hidden court document about virtual child porn. In an ad with children holding BDSM bears. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that, there's a different thing going on here. Demna, who is one of the leaders for Balenciaga, who Kanye West has spoke out against recently. And I don't know if you know the whole Kanye story, because we just get fed pieces. Remember that. Remember that the enemy is the prince of the airwaves. The prince of the airwaves. So when we get something from the media, it's chopped and screwed in a way to serve an agenda, whether the agenda is just to give us good knowledge, or the agenda is to get us to look to the left, or the agenda is to get us to look to the right, or just sell a product. Whenever we see something on the airways, there's an agenda. I have an agenda here. You're watching me on the airways. My agenda is try to get you to think freely for yourself, as opposed to being spoon-fed stuff from your friends who think just like you, your parents who might think just like you, or the people you surround yourself with who may think just like you too. So I just want you to be able to be a free thinker. Now, of course, Balenciaga has come out and said that they're suing the company who actually did the photo shoot. They're suing the company that did the photo shoot after the spread has already come out. But anybody who's ever done any editing knows that you look at the footage, you look at the film, you look at the print, you look at the script over and over and over again. Then you have somebody else look at it and say, yo, check this out for me. Make sure that this is solid, and make sure that this is something that I want to put out. This is $1 billion company. All those checks and balances. And it still came out. And when it came out and people saw the backlash from it, because see, now kingdom people, we have a voice. We can speak up and we can say, hey, we're not honoring that. Some of my friends love high fashion. And so they've had to get rid of some Balenciaga stuff because they can't condone that, that explicit desensitization of our children. Because if you could desensitize our kids, when the enemy throws something their way, it's not shocking anymore. It's no longer shocking, so it can be accepted, but we're not standing for it. And I stay silent about a lot of things because some things are just put out there so that we can argue. I don't see an argument here, and I haven't even really heard an argument from the other side. Just an apology, and they're trying to do damage control, but the damage control should have been done before this got put out. There's a part in one of the ads where the spelling of Balenciaga is, I want to make sure I get the correct spelling, Balenciaga, Balen, Balen. So in one of the ads, Balenciaga was spelled Baal, Baal, demonic. Some people say Baal is one of Satan's top demons. Some say Baal is Satan himself, just on earth, walking around in that form. So we don't know, but as plain as day in the ad, it says Baal and not Balenciaga. But we don't know who's behind this stuff. He makes people think that he doesn't exist. The enemy is real. He exists. He's here. He's in our faces. Now we have to determine what we're going to do going forward. And you have to be critical of that stuff. So when you see something and it feels demonic and you see children being exploited, that's not holy. We can speak out about that, and we can speak out about it in a way that won't cause somebody else pain. We're just speaking facts. We're speaking on spiritual things. We wrestle against spiritual things, not flesh and bone. This isn't a wrestle with Demna, who is the flesh and bones of Balenciaga. No, it's bigger than that. It's spiritual. A lot of times the puppets in these situations, they don't even know. It's so above them, because if you haven't been taught about spiritual things, you'll think there's a level playing field. But this is spiritual, and the devil makes people think that he doesn't exist. So I just want you guys to be aware. Check that story out for yourself. It would be great to get a chance to talk to somebody in Balenciaga's camp. But they're doing so much damage control, I don't even know if I'll get an email back, because they're just being apologetic right now. But check that out. There's little kids in that hypersexual ad. And this is the day and age that we live in. So be mindful, be watchful, be prayerful. Pray for the leaders of this country. Pray for the leaders of big corporations. Pray for Jeff and Elon and these guys who have billions and billions of dollars that potentially run the world. Our job is to, we beat them down. Oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe. Hey, listen, believe that happens because they don't have the Spirit of God yet. But if we can pray, and if people can get around men and speak some scripture, plant some seeds, pray for these men, God can change the hearts of man. He can. And some of these billionaires that we may not see eye to eye with, oh, wouldn't it be great if God changed their hearts because of a seed that one of you planted in prayer for them? And now $50 billion could be used to feed kids in the jungle somewhere, or build a school, or things like that. Let's be prayerful. Let's be mindful. The D Philly Show, episode 2, Balenciaga. Let me know what you think. Hit the comments, like, subscribe. Like I said, I would love to hear from you guys. All right? Love you guys. Out.